I can do this. I can do this. I just need to formulate the joke in my mind. Hello all of you little demons, Jules here for WhatCulture.com, back again with another episode of the awesomely named and awfully hosted Choose Your Own Adventure, the weekly medieval themed format where I, the crown jewels of WhatCulture.com, take a list chosen by you, yes you cheeky little whippet, who is finally going to be able to go outside walking with their friends this weekend. Yes, it is happening, my dudes. Let's keep this positive train going. Yes, you get to decide what list I dole out to you each and every week. And this week we have none other to thank than Pierce Gormley for their suggestion of times that video game villains tricked us into helping them. God, you cheeky whippets, what you doing, man? And this is the thing. When it comes to video games, it's an age-old adage that sometimes a story is only as good as its villain. And you have to see a lot of truth in that. After all, with so many bland as flavourless gruel protagonists being forced down our throats by Hollywood and the multitude of fictional novels that present blank slate heroes for us to project ourselves onto, the villain becomes the focal point, either hamming it up or otherwise providing a narrative anchor to the proceedings. As such, it's hard not to fall in love with these maniacal megalomaniacs because they're just so utterly charming. So, of course, from time to time, even the best heroes, the most stalwart warriors of justice, fall afoul to their Machiavellian machinations. So let's take a look at them today. As I'm Jules, this is WhatCulture.com, and these are 8 times that video game villains tricked us into helping them. And also say hi to me here in the live chat and pop your suggestions for next week's episode down in the comments section below. And with that said, I'm Jules, and let's get on with this list. Bow! Number 8, the BRICKSTER Lego Island. Curse you, BRICKSTER! Now, I know it might seem a little odd to have a villain from the Lego Island series on this absolute killer's row of other big bads, but the BRICKSTER sure does earn his spot, as not only does he completely con our hero Pepperoni, groan, but does so in the most ludicrous way ever. So, Pepperoni is an absolute idiot. That needs to be stated from the off, and as he's out just enjoying his very stupid life being a pizza delivery boy, he gets a call to his family's pizzeria saying, "Hey, come and deliver a hot slice of czar to the prison." And he thinks to himself, whoa, better not question this, better get the rocket shoes on and move as quickly as this game will allow, which is like 2 frames every 2 minutes, because my god, this game is slideshow in places. But arriving at the prison, Pepper finds out that it wasn't actually the guards who called in this order, leading us to ask, then who? I certainly couldn't have been the BRICKSTER, right? I mean, how would he get access to a phone in his prison? That would be a stupid design if he had access to a phone in his prison that allowed him to do outward calls like this, wouldn't it? But that's what happens! And while you're trying to piece together this block-based mystery, the BRICKSTER uses, and I can't believe that this is a thing, the fumes from the pizza to melt the locks of his cell. What is on that pizza, my friend? Because the FDA's on the phone and they're telling me it ain't organic. But thanks to this absolutely over-the-top and crazy plan, you have actually ended up freeing the BRICKSTER. Good job, Pepperoni. Nice one. Well, at least it leads us into today's musical interlude. Let's get it out of the doors early on. Jazz and James, the power couple duo. Are you both ready to shake them hips and sing a song with Jules? I forgot my own name then.
Yeah.
In fact, I've got a very special treat for you today, James, because I know you're a huge fan of Pink Floyd. In fact, I remember being in the old office and you saying that your favourite album that they've ever released was the Pink Floyd Greatest Hits. Isn't that correct? Had to get that joke in there. Well, lucky you, because we're going to be doing a cover of Another Brick in the Wall.
We cannot do a cover of Another Brick in the Wall because we will get sued.
We didn't order any pizza.
We'll get sued.
Who would want acid as a topping?
What do you expect me to do?
Hey, BRICKSTER, leave your cell alone. Seriously, mate, that costs a lot of taxpayer money. You've escaped. If only we could have prevented this. Number 7, Athena, God of War 3. If there is one person who I would definitely never, ever, ever want to double cross, aside from Jazz, because I genuinely fear for my safety sometimes with the way that she looks at the camera. It's Kratos, the literal god of war. Such is the trail of human body jam that he would leave in his wake as he tries to get bloody vengeance on you. She's doing it again, isn't she? Still, the pantheon of gods never seem to learn this lesson and routinely try to get Baldy here to do their dirty work, especially in God of War 3, where he is betrayed a whopping 3 times in a single sitting. Firstly, Gaia turns on him after the opening assault on Olympus, claiming that he was just a pawn for the Titan's revenge. Then Hephaestus sends him on a quest which she hopes will see Kratos perish, only for the Dad of the Year every year to return and attack him for his betrayal. And finally, we have Athena, who was actually manipulating Kratos all along under the guise of friendship. And that's why I choose not to have any friends.
That's not the reason why you have no friends, Jules.
Oh, James. As a friend, that hurt. When it's revealed that Athena only wanted to work together so that she could claim untold power from Pandora's box, it's quite the emotional gut punch, and it makes Kratos' sacrifice at the end of all of this even more impactful, as this becomes his last act of defiance to the gods that have wronged him so many times. But you know what? Fingers crossed she actually comes back as the main villain for Ragnarok or beyond, because there's a lot of unresolved things going on there. And plus, she's a very good villain now. Delicioso. Number 6, Twisted Pixels, Comic Jumper, The Adventures of Captain Smiley. Now, I know it might seem a little strange at first to have an entire development team here as the villain for this entry, but trust me, after you go through Comic Jumper and all of the insane, over-the-top action set pieces that Twisted Pixels put you through, it becomes clear. They're basically exploiting your life for cash, and you help them make an absolute mansion full of it. Quite literally. To better explain, the narrative of Comic Jumper revolves around a washed-up superhero called Captain Smiley, whose popularity is in the toilet and who is selling less merch than AJ Styles when he put out his Man Batter t-shirt. For those of you not in the know, AJ Styles, world-renowned wrestler who is now currently signed with the WWE, once put out a t-shirt that looked like it was written in spooge. I'll take 2, please. But then in come Twisted Pixels, a self-insert appearance of the developers who claim that they will help Smiley by offering him the technology to jump into other comics and earn some cash and popularity in the process. What follows is a rampage through several eras, styles, and an endless wave of baddies, all of which push Smiley to new limits. Yet, at the end of all of this, Smiley receives absolutely none of the praise. He's literally left as we found him, fighting with his sidekick Star, and all that we actually see is changed is that Twisted Pixels are now stupidly, offensively rich, to the point that they've got a mansion with tons of sport cars and a monkey butler. The cheeky whippets. Number 5, DORMIN, Shadow of the Colossus. I think everyone the world over felt their stomach lurch at the closing of Shadow of the Colossus, because talk about an emotional tone shift. Now, in retrospect, we probably should have always been wary of a mysterious deity housed in an area of the world in which we are forbidden to tread, and likely should have questioned why Wanda is being hunted by the army in the opening of this game. But when faced with the task of resurrecting Mono, it's clear that this game is pushing us to rise to an insurmountable challenge for friendship or indeed love. And this is why I choose not to be loved. I've got no comeback. Thus, we begin our quest to slay the Colossi in order to give power to DORMIN, who says that he will bring Mono back from the dead. Yet come the close of the story, it turns out that these massive beasts were in fact protecting the world from DORMIN's evil. Awakened and now inhabiting the body of Wanda, we're left feeling the right fool for helping the main villain return to power. Curse you, DORMIN, and your alluring voice. Curse you. This was basically like believing that the voices that you'd heard were actually from Slime Jesus. Look at him. Yes, look at him. Float down. Oh, look how beautiful he is. Wouldn't you trust this guy? But then it turns out that these were actually the words and verses of Beelzebub. Curse you! I hit you on the head. I hit you on the head. He's coming back. I can do nothing to him. He's a morsel. I'm just a mere man. Number 4, Handsome Jack, Borderlands 2. Now I know what you're thinking, Jules, you idiot egg. Handsome Jack, the most duplicitous villain in all of the Borderlands franchise, a man who is about as subtle as a nail in the goddamn eye. Of course we don't trust this man. Of course he's a villain. What are you on about? I'm going to punch you in the face. And I'm just going to say, calm down, mate. It's just a video game list. But also, let me explain. And also, suck a punch. Well, my friend, yes, you are totally correct with your assessment. For the most part, that is. And it is true, Handsome Jack makes no bones about being the bad guy and will at every opportunity make you aware that he hates every fibre of your goddamn being and will do anything possible to eliminate you from the equation. So how can he possibly trick a player when this dynamic is so well established? Well, in the mission to Grandmother's House we go, he contacts the player waving a tiny little white flag and proposing a truce just for a mere moment if you would do him a massive favour and go check on his sweet beloved grandma. Now, as a player, you're probably thinking to yourself, I despise you, but at the same time, if I can show you compassion, then maybe there's a salvation story at hand. Maybe if I show you some goodness, you'll pay it forward and stop all of this absolute anarchy that's going on, right? Well, unfortunately not. After arriving at her house, we unfortunately find old Granny Dearest doing a great Roland impression, aka being as dead as a doorknob. Bandits, it seems, were to blame, and after some pleading from Jack, we put an end to their heinous crimes. Jack then buzzes in once more, but his tears turn to laughter as he reveals that he actually hired the goons to kill his nan and had you kill them off so that he wouldn't have to pay anyone. God damn it, Jack, he's mugged us off again. That's it, no more compassion to you, I'm gonna put you in the goddamn ground. Number 3, Frank Fontaine, BioShock. Frank Fontaine. If there are 2 words that will make my jaw clench to the point that my teeth almost shatter, aside from order delayed, thank you online delivery services during a pandemic, that's been fun, it is the name of Frank Fontaine. Listen, you can hear them almost splintering under the pressure. And that is because he is an absolute bastard man who I hate with every conceivable molecule of my body. And yet, at the same time, I annoyingly love him so much for being such a perfect villain. God damn you, Frank Fontaine! Fontaine! God damn. And it all stems from the brilliant and quite possibly best video game twist ever, in which it turns out that our hunky protagonist Jack here has been lured hook, line and sinker by this crook lying stinker called Frank Fontaine, who's been posing as Atlas, all thanks to a bit of mind control brainwashing. It turns out that you were a genetically engineered tool designed solely to take down Andrew Ryan and wrest control of Rapture from his cold, dead hands. Being made of his DNA meant that you were able to bypass a ton of the security configured to his genetic makeup and even use the regenerative Vita chambers, which again were locked to his genetic imprint should things go wrong. And all of this is made crystal clear when players encounter the Would You Kindly room, where the walls just come down around us when we realise that this isn't just talking to our protagonist Jack, but also us as a player, about player agency, about what impact we actually have on a game itself, and your mind is left in pieces as you marvel at this brilliant twist, this brilliant bit of writing, and then the name etched writ large in my head, Frank Fontaine. I'm gonna kill you now, and it's gonna be delicious, because nobody tricks old Julesy, except for phone scams. 3 this year. Number 2, The Forces of Chaos, Warhammer 40,000 Dawn of War. Now, here's the thing about the Warhammer 40,000 universe. There's not a lot of good going on here. Even big hitters like the Emperor of Mankind, which sounds pretty cool, right, is actually quite horrible. Seeing as even though he's trying to keep humanity going, he needs thousands of souls literally every single day to keep him alive, and that doesn't scream benevolence, does it? However, it's not like the forces of evil have your back either, and will as quickly mutate you into a gibbering mass of flesh as use you as a human shield, yet at least they're pretty upfront about the whole matter. But what really squigs my crack though is when Chaos gets all sneaky and has you doing the dirty work for it without you even realising. Such is the case of the original Dawn of War video game, which sees you take control of a Space Marine chapter called the Blood Ravens and are sent off to a war-torn distant planet to right the wrongs of enemies of mankind, and that usually means shooting them in the face with bullets the size of grenades, which explode like rockets. As you defeat orcs, traitorous legions, and even those once loyal now tainted by chaos, you learn of a cult trying to resurrect a powerful chaos demon. So naturally, you slaughter your way from one side of the planet to the other to stop them, only to be informed that the entire planet was a ritual site and that every drop of blood that has been spilled has been feeding the demon. Had you not given in to such wanton vengeance and destruction, then maybe the demon might not have been summoned in the first place, but unfortunately you're a Space Marine and they do one thing very well, and that is kill. Also, if you want to see more Warhammer 40,000 action, go over to Live and Let's Dice. Plug. And number 1, GRAF DUMAS. SOULCALIBUR 5. So to those familiar with the SOULCALIBUR franchise, the narrative and rosters within these games are anything but subtle. From jiggle physics to over-the-top and larger-than-life personalities, it's very hard to keep a low profile here, especially when you're a living, sentient suit of armour that's carrying around what is basically William Birkin that's been slapped onto a giant oversized butter knife. Yet it turns out that Nightmare, the sword-wielding warrior in question, was actually by far the sneakiest of all SOULCALIBUR villains, as he managed to completely con the young Patroclus into doing his dirty work for many years. Adopting the form of a nobleman, Count or Graf Dumas formed a friendship with the young warrior, teaching him many fighting styles in an effort for Patty over here to realise his dreams of becoming a holy warrior. And part of the Count's test was to go and slay Malfested, people who had come into contact with Soul Edge and become corrupted by its power. Unfortunately, it was later revealed that these horrors were actually just innocent people that Dumas was getting his lackey to take out, because these people might look to usurp his position of power. And to say that Pat over here was a little bit upset upon finding out the truth is like saying that Voldo is a bit of a fetish freak. A massive understatement. And there we go, my friends. Those were 8 video game villains that tricked you into helping them. I hope that you enjoyed that, and please let me know what you thought about it down in the comment section below. As always, I've been Jules. You can go follow me over on Twitter at RetroJ0, or you can swing by Live and Let's Dice. That's Dice with a C, where I do all of my streaming and board game content outside of work, and it'd be great to see you over there. But before I go, my friends, I just want to say one thing, and that is that I hope that you are doing well. Hope that you are treating yourself with love and respect, because you deserve the good things in life. You are the best. You are a big ledge, and do not let anything or anyone else tell you otherwise. We are on the upward curve now, my friends. We are seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, literally, because we're moving kind of towards spring and summer. So come on, let's get these positive vibes going. Let's keep this train rolling, because together we'll make it through this and out the other side, smashing on through, right in the face. But as always, I've been Jules. You have been awesome. Never forget that. I'll speak to you soon. Peace.